Hey, this is Tim from Garden Hands. So Lindsay came up with, or Jody came up with the idea that we should make a film of what our favorite things are over at the Syrup Shack. Besides getting together with family and friends, those are the two most important things, is enjoying company. I think the nicest part of what we did here when we did this is we poured a piece of cement and we measured it one day. What was it, Lindsay? 12 or 14 inches deep?
Sounds like you did measure it.
Oh, we didn't measure it. We measured it with 2 different tapes. So we measured it, and it was, let's say it's 12 inches. It could be more than that. That'd be all right too. So instead of getting down to fire like some guys have to do, which you get by with what you got. I get that. I mean, I'm not saying this is the way to do it, but it's worked out well for us, that it's just the right height to put wood in. You don't have to bend down, and you can see inside of it pretty good. It's pretty full right now, I think. We could throw a piece in. So I got a couple small ones here. So to put a piece of wood in, it's just kind of the right. This sucker's hot. To put some wood in, it's about the right height, and you can see back in there from where you are. Not that you need to do that usually. Versus bending over to get down low enough to do it. So you're standing up, you're not on your knees. It works great. We haven't fixed our steps yet. We'll do that. Another thing we have electricity in here. That's great. We kind of had an electrician run a line up from Lindsay's house, Lindsay and Kevin's house, that we have electricity. That's a convenience, that's for sure. We have our shopping cart. We already went over that in the previous video. So much for that. Yeah. No.
Shake my head.
We've got enough room in here to store enough wood for 2/3 of the season, probably. We have a lot of wood outside, but we can get this put in ahead of time. Last year, Jody and I did this in July or August, whenever it was. But it's in here and it's dry, and when you're going to start, there's always a million things to get done, and that's done. So that's another good thing, I think. We have a cement floor. We're lucky enough to have that for a small operation. A couple of old office chairs are awful nice when you're sitting here at night and it's 9 o'clock and nobody's here. At least you can sit down and relax a little bit and sit right by the dial and watch it. Jump up and throw some wood in and sit back down for a second, or late at night when you're here and everybody went home. All the food is gone. So that works good. The next thing we have is when we built the shack. Keeping up? Come on there. The next thing we have is we have windows. 80% of the time you're here during the day, you're here a little bit at night, but we can, when you're filtering, you've got good light. And that is nice. So we have windows. They're not fancy. They're just what we could get at Menards or wherever. And then we bought a piece of Formica counter, just a reasonable price counter. It might have even been a second or a return. So we have plenty of counter space that you can put. Guess what we do when we come over? We eat. But that's what brings people. And people come over and sit down and eat, and it's cool. It's fun. I mean, this is a hobby, and it is fun. So anyway, we've got an old stove that probably took it out of our house, didn't we? Or whatever. Got it from a neighbor. Just an old free stove that's electric that we can use to reheat for filtering. Jody reminded me it's a smooth top stove. Yeah, it's hot too. She's heating it up, dummy. So it's a smooth top stove, so when you boil it over, not if you do, but when you do, because it happens, it's a lot easier to clean up versus a one with the coils, the burners. There we go, the burners. We don't use the oven, that doesn't matter to us. I don't think it works anyway. The next thing that we did is we just put in just a cheap little wood burning stove, so that when you're here and it's later in the evening and you're letting that stove cool down, or when you're first starting up, you've got a little bit of fire. When you get done gathering and you come back in and your gloves are wet and your feet are wet, you could put a pair of gloves on there. Nope, can't do that. Found that out yesterday. But you can kind of stand by it and get warmed up. That's nice. She keeps a pan of water on here, so we always have some warm water, some permeate water that we can wash up with if something spills, or she uses it when she's canning. She can keep this to be clean and use that for cleaning up the rims of the jars. We've got a couple of chairs for the old people. I never sit in them. We got a couple old recliners that we got for free from a neighbor. They're always out. You just got to get there before the college kids do. But a couple of recliners that we put them up on some extensions there a little bit, so it's easier to get in and out of them. But these are usually, if somebody sits here, that's where they're going to sit. And that's comfortable to sit and chat, is it? Catch up a little bit. But I don't know. We have fun. We have a good time. It's really comfortable. It's big enough if you got 10 people around. Everybody's got a place to sit. There's all Jody and Lindsay have always got food here, and people bring food, so we have a good time. We keep a whole row of totes down underneath the countertop there, and those have worked well, because if you're out in the woods, you're going to have mice or chipmunks or some kind of a pest. So you can keep everything in a tote. Once we leave at night, the counter's clean and everything is in a tote or taken home, and we don't have issues with critters.
Is there anything that would be nice to have in here that you've seen other people have?
Automatic draw.
I wouldn't always fix it. Yeah, I guess an automatic draw would be all right, but I don't mind doing it. You have to be there to put firewood in. You just have to. I'm not good. I just can't stay concentrated, and then I'll start talk. That's the worst thing, is I'll start talking with somebody, and then it's whoops.
It's that good part about having friends and family here, that a little bit of a distraction.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine though. I ran the pan over the bucket, the filter bucket over yesterday. It looked horrible. We supposedly spilled a pint or something like that and cleaned it back up. Syrup cleans up easy. But as far as the Sugar Shack, the building, the facility itself is nice. And it's big enough. I think when we built it, we were a little bit concerned that cutting a beam that was 20 feet wide was going to be an issue, but it's sure nice to have that width. Because when you get kids in here and the evaporator's hot, it's nice to be able to kind of let them have their space so they're not crowded right up against the evaporator, so that you worry about somebody touching that and getting burned. But no, it's nice. Is it practical? I don't know, but it's a hobby, so it isn't. It's whatever you want to make it, and we make it so it's fun. So thanks again for watching. I know I ramble on, so I'm going to shut it off here and click on the like button, and this is subscribe. I have a hard time with subscribe. Join. They should call it join. Click on the join button.
There's no join button.
The join button. Anyway, thanks again. Click on the two buttons, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.